Welcome to Etihad Cargo Connections. I'm your host, Rowan Anderson, and today I'm joined by Group 1 winning trainer and half of the formidable father and son partnership, Troy Corstens. How are we this morning, Troy?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Rowan.
Excellent. Thanks so much for joining us. This is going to be really good.
No problems.
And we'll just start from the start, mate. Where were you born and where did you grow up?
I was actually born over in Adelaide. Dad was foreman for Bart Cummings over there. And when I was about 4, we moved to Melbourne and then grew up in Melbourne for the rest of my life.
Awesome. And we'll just talk about your dad, Leon himself. He was partners, as you mentioned, with the Master for close to 3 decades, delivering many great victories. How much of an influence has his career had on yours?
Look, it was, I probably took it a little bit for granted when I was a young child. We had all these champions going through the stables, and it's not until you get into the industry and start doing it yourself, you realise the horse flesh that we had coming through the stables. So I probably, as I said, took it for granted a little bit now, but I look back on those days and realise how good they were.
And what was it about horses and horse racing that got you really passionate to be involved in the sport?
I just think the animal. It's I really love the animal. They're unique. They're good, and just that I really enjoy the fact that nobody knows if they can run or not. And you can go to the yearling sale, and it doesn't matter whether you spend $1 million or 100,000. You've got just as much chance. As long as you get a decent pedigree and stuff like that, you've got a good chance of still getting a decent horse.
And yeah, it's just to that point as well. So many people say, we got to look at how it walks, and it never always comes down to that. So as you said, everyone says that they know how a horse is going to perform, but I mean, like you could have the best pedigree, and the horse could be, not suited for the track. So it all comes down to each horse. Is that correct?
Yeah, spot on. They're all individuals. They're all different. And, you can have the best looking horse in the world, and if they don't want to run, they just don't. So it's nice to try and find that out.
That's it. And you got your first Group 1 in 2016 with Awesome Rock. Can you tell us a bit about what that meant for the team, especially yourself and your father?
He was a fantastic horse for the stable. He did a really good job. Probably, arguably, should have won the Australian Cup as well. Earlier that year, we lost it on protest, unfortunately, but he was a fantastic horse for the stable. And again, a Fastnet Rock, who's been an unbelievable stallion here in Australia. And he was just a beautiful horse.
And who did you lose the protest to in the Australia Cup?
Preferment.
Okay. So it could have been worse horses to lose the protest to, right?
No protest is nice to lose. I can tell you, right?
I bet.
I don't care what else it was.
Yeah, and so we'll just talk about the Gold Rush win. 4th, beautifully placed by Pike. Horses like Kementari, Kiss on All Four Cheeks, brought in about 100-meter mark, fought it out with Kiss on All Four Cheeks to win in a complete head bobber. What was that moment like for you guys? Not only the wait to see if you got the job done, but also finding out that you had got the job done in that one.
Yeah, look, I was actually a little bit, I wasn't confident, but when he went over the line, I thought that we had it easily. And then they said, it's a photo, and they're going across the line. I thought, geez, have I got this wrong? But sure enough, he'd won the photo, and he's just such a tough and honest horse. And we knew that he'd put in his all over there, and he did. It was great.
And what have been some other highlights or big wins that have really been monumental in your career?
Look, the Astrologist has been fantastic. We always also had Montoya's Secret win the Vinery. A lot of Group 1 placings, unfortunately, with Swatstat. She was a fantastic filly back in the day with us. I've had a lot. I'm very lucky, and I've got about 80 horses in work, and I'm just trying to find that next one now.
Yeah, that's it. And so we'll talk about the Astrologist plans going ahead now for Dubai. Has one on both listed and group company, including, as we mentioned, the Gold Rush. Tell us a little bit about the Astrologist, how he came to be with you guys, as well as, a bit about his personality, because as you said, everyone's unique.
Yeah, he's an amazing horse. We didn't get him to start with. He was originally trained by Tony and Calvin McAvoy, and they did a fantastic job with him. Circumstances changed, and we managed to get him And right from the start, he was just a horse that you knew had a decent ability, but more importantly, Rowan, he was a horse that tried. Every time you sent him out, you know that he'd put in his best. So he's Group One placed. He's placing in the Newmarket was amazing. He's just been such a great horse. He's not the best horse that's ever been through the place, but he's probably one of the horses that tries the most. That's for sure.
And how long's the plan been in place for the Dubai campaign?
So we've been thinking about Dubai for probably since about this time last year. So it's always difficult. You've got to get things in place, and then you've got to make sure that you hold the horses together. They've got to travel, which we found out he did do that over to Perth. That was probably, I know Dubai's a lot longer trip than the Perth trip, but he flew quite well and nicely, handled all that. So we'll have the 2 runs here, and then we'll head over to Dubai.
And what are the next 2 runs for the Astrologist before the trip to Dubai?
So it's no easy task. He's going to run first up in the Oakley Plate, which is probably short of his best. It's 1100. He'll probably get about 57 kilos, but then it ties in quite well with the Newmarket, which is 2 weeks later. He'll drop to 54, and then it runs well in the Newmarket, and then we head over to Dubai for the Alcos.
And you, as you said, you're in there, Alcos. What's the program look like? Is it just that one and done, or is there a further program for him when he's on the road, so to speak?
We are very, very open, and I've been in discussion with Nathan Bennett, and we're going to look to see what's around, and maybe possibly head over to Europe after we've been to Dubai. So Dubai's number one for us at this stage to get there as far as overseas trips goes, and then we'll take it from there and see how we go over there.
And how many? You said you had 80 horses in work at the moment?
Yeah, got 80 in work.
Yeah, and so who are the other stars of the stable, or even up and coming young ones that we should keep an eye on as race fans?
Look, I've got a really good young team coming through at the moment. Probably, I think it's the best group of 2-year-olds that we've had for quite a while. So, I'll tell you after the weekend. We've got three of our good 2-year-olds trialing on Friday morning, and then got one racing in the prelude on Saturday, and they're all about to hit the track. So, ask me this question again in about 4 weeks' time.
That's really cool. And so we'll just go one more question about the Astrologist, because obviously he's the star. Head to Dubai, and then you said Europe as well. The question everyone would be asking: would he ever be aimed for the Everest? Has there ever been any interest from both your camp or anyone else's to put him in that huge contest?
Look, we've always sort of been concentrating on the Melbourne races as far as that goes, but we would definitely not. We'd be thinking about the Everest for sure at the end of the year. Why not? It's such a great race, and it's becoming a real iconic race actually in Australia. So we'd definitely be looking at the Everest at the end of the year.
And as you'd be well aware, we want the best stars to be in the Everest, and obviously all the feature races, especially in Melbourne as well. So why not the Astrologist when he's shown his credentials well and truly.
Yep, exactly.
And just in terms of big races, both abroad and at home, what are some key ones that you not only target but would love to really show what you guys can do on the track?
I'd love to win a Melbourne Cup, and we've been quite lucky this year, and we've got our first 2 European horses coming over. They've both arrived, and I'm really looking forward to this year and trying to get them to the Melbourne Cup. So it's the be all and end all as far as I'm concerned. I'd love to win a Melbourne Cup. And
who are the 2 European horses?
We bought a horse called Badge, and we bought a horse called Gattarichico. So
awesome.
Both come over from France. So nice staying horses in the making, and looking forward to getting them over and getting them through their paces here.
See what we can do for sure. And just a final question. And as long as you've been training, what are the biggest lessons you've learned that have really held you in stead for success?
Probably to be patient, and it's a really tough game. A lot of the time you're dealing out bad news and injuries and things not going right, bad barriers and stuff like that. So you've just really got to be resilient and patient. I think that's the best 2 things in racing.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for joining us on Etihad Co Connections this morning, Troy. It's been really good.
Cheers, bro.
Thanks, mate. Bye.